Well, hello, DCO Nation, and welcome back to another DCO Live. Guys, good to see you. I am trying something a little bit different here tonight. I am actually also streaming on Instagram. So hopefully it is coming through. I'm getting the green check mark. So hopefully I am live on Instagram right now. So we are actually live on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. Hey, man, my my technical knowledge is growing, so we're gonna see how this goes tonight. But Steve is on. Good to see you, buddy. Glad you jumped in. Brian's on. Smallcraft Angler. Hey, are you still down in Florida? Throw up something there in the chat. Let me know if you're still down there in Florida. Tony, you're on. Good to see you, buddy. And Keith. All right, man. So yeah, we got a few guys on. Looks like there's some other guys who are watching that haven't jumped into the chat, but remember that this live show is for you guys and it is your show. So if you have any questions, throw them up into the chat box and I will get to them as they come in. But let's kind of get started off with what's happening this weekend down in Charleston. The Hadrill's Point Fishing Expo is going on there at the is it the Omar Shriners? I can't read the little post, it's so small, but I think it's the Omar Shriners right there, kind of in that Charleston, Mount Pleasant area. Hey, Everett jumped on. Hey, buddy, good to see you. And the if you guys haven't been down there, it's a great fishing expo. They've got some awesome speakers. And so let's start off with who's going to be down there speaking. So hang on, let's back up 1 second. So it's Saturday and Sunday. Saturday, it starts from 9 and goes till 6 p.m. Sunday, it's 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. And they have seminars pretty much running all day long. There's 2 rooms, so there's 2 seminars going on all the time and all kinds of speakers. Well, here's a handful of the speakers. Captain C.A. Richardson's going to be there. And he is speaking Saturday and Sunday. I know on Saturday, I think he is one of the first speakers, like at 9:30, I believe. And again, if I'm wrong, somebody correct me, but I think he's one of the first ones. And you can head over to Facebook, punch up Hadrill's Point, find the Fishing Expo. It's got everything all listed out there for you. But C.A. Richardson's going to be there. Captain Stephen Fluke Jr., who I just interviewed for the radio show, he is going to be down there doing a seminar. Captain Tanya Dowdy is going to be doing a couple of seminars Saturday and Sunday, and she's been on here on the live and on the radio show. She's awesome. And then Captain Jot Owens, who is a charter captain up in, I think he primarily charters out of Wilmington, North Carolina, and he's going to be up there, plus a bunch of other guys. That was just kind of the local guys that I kind of knew, but there's all kinds of stuff from mahi fishing, bass fishing, looking at electronics, everything. So head down to the Fishing Expo, check it out. I'm going down Saturday. I'll probably be there probably right at about 9:30. I wouldn't mind trying to get in to see Captain CA speak. I haven't been able to get in any of his seminars the last several years because it fills up so quick when he comes down. Excuse me. So I'm going to try to get there a little bit early and see if I can't sit in on one of his seminars. But I'll definitely be catching, Captain Stephen, going around talking to Captain Tanya. The booths on the inside, David Flad, Release Over 20, all those guys are going to be down there. There's like a fly tying station kind of set up right in the middle. I know Z-Man's there, Pin is there, Shimano's there, just a ton of booze. And yes, you can purchase, because I go down with a fat wallet and I come back with no money. So guys, I love the Fishing Expo. Hopefully you guys can be down there. If you're down there, and you see me, say hi, and we'll chat it up a little bit. But check that out. This week I did my radio show, and they're on the Outdoor Radio Network on iHeartRadio, and I had a great conversation with Captain Stephen Fluke Jr. Hopefully you guys have caught that. It goes live every Wednesday at at 10 a.m. on the Outdoor Radio Network. And we talked about, the tough fishing conditions in January. And I don't know about you guys, but I have such a tough time in January. It is probably my worst month of fishing. I have been out a couple of different times, and I have been skunked out. I can't find the fish. Well, come to find out, the last time I was out, uh, Captain Steven said, "Yeah, that's probably the worst time to go." So, that's me. The worst time to go. But yeah, he was given some great tips. When he likes to fish, how the fish are reacting right now. So, check out the Outdoor Radio Network. Pull it up on the app. Listen to it. There are great hosts all day long. Listen for Deadcom Outdoors. Or you can go to my YouTube channel, Deadcom Outdoors, and you can pull up and watch the video version. Or you can head over to Spotify to Deadcom Outdoors, and you can also either listen to or watch that interview with Captain Stephen Fluke Jr. But just absolutely full of great tips and knowledge, great personality, fantastic guy. And yeah, I always enjoy having him on. This show coming up next Wednesday, I have a couple of guests on at the same time. And I'm not going to tell you guys who it is, but it's a couple of big YouTubers that I actually reached out to about a week or so ago. And they were gracious enough to agree to come on. And so that is going to be dropping Wednesday at 10 a.m. That is really the only thing I'm going to say about it. I may drop the thumbnail come maybe Monday or Tuesday, to, kind of give you a little hint of what the topic is going to be and who they are. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to interviewing those guys. We're doing it on Sunday, and that will drop Wednesday at 10 a.m. So that is kind of recapping everything that's been kind of going on. So the last time we got together, I told you guys that hold on. Brian with Small Craft Angler, he said, "Are the seminars easy to get into or super busy?" Again, it kind of all depends. Usually the morning sessions are very busy. Captain C.A. Richardson will be standing room only. Obviously, big keynote speaker. But yeah, usually you can get into the seminars. He will be the only one that'll be tough to get into. There's usually plenty of seating or even standing along like maybe the back walls or something. But yeah, usually there's enough people or enough room for you to get in. So yeah, it's a good question. Brian actually said he's on his way home from Florida. Winds picked up and was 30 miles an hour. Not good for fishing or camping. Yeah, man. I can definitely imagine that. It's I've been out there when it's blowing 20 miles an hour. It is not fun at all. So the last time we chatted, I told you guys that I was going sheepshead fishing for the first time. Well, I want to kind of recap that trip. Excuse me. And so here is how the trip went. So I got up Friday morning, and I went by a local bait shop here in town. It was Inlet Rocks there in Merle's Inlet. And I went down there and I picked up some fiddler crabs, and I got a scoop of fiddler crabs, put them in my little bucket there, and headed down towards the Wando River. And that's where I ended up going, the Wando. I was going to head out of Station 19 on Sullivan's Island, but I changed my mind. I don't know why, but I peeled off. I went out of Paradise and was going to hit those docks right there. So I ended up getting down there. I think it was right around 9 o'clock. It was about midway through an incoming tide, and bluebird skies. It was a beautiful day. And so I took off mid tide. The tide was coming in, and I started fishing for like some redfish and some trout first before I got to the docks that I wanted to fish. Never got anything. So I was just kind of throwing an array of everything, from slim swims to the little 2.5 inch prawn star, working these things really low and slow. I was doing a a TRD, and I can't remember. It was in a green. It may have been green pumpkin. I can't exactly remember the color now. Gosh, it escapes me, but it was a green color, and I threw the TRD around a little bit on a little mushroom Ned head. Never got anything. So ended up working my way down to these docks, and I put on a fiddler crab on what looked like a bottom sweeper, but the jig head that I was using was from Lemon Island Fishing. That gentleman is out of Beaufort, South Carolina, and he makes his jig heads himself. So, excuse me. And I was using his sheepshead jig, and I was using the smallest one that I had, which was the 1/4 ounce. And so I put on that 1/4 ounce sheepshead jig and went ahead and got to my first dock. It had some decent amount of barnacles on it. I wouldn't say it was an old crusty, barnacle ridden dock, but I was like, you know what? I'm just going to try. I'm going to start right here, and I'm going to start pushing docks. Got there, kind of held on to the pilings, and because the current really wasn't pushing that hard. So I could kind of get right up underneath the dock. I could hold on to those pilings and not get pushed around, too bad at all. So fished around 2, 3, 4, 5 docks, never got anything, kept pushing down a line of docks, wasn't getting anything. And I thought, well, maybe one of the bycatches that I may pick up a redfish off of the bottom using these fiddler crabs. Well, ended up not getting anything off of these docks. And I was like, okay, let's try something a little bit different. So at that point, it was high tide. It was probably, I'm going to say noon, 12:30. Okay. And so I went all the way down to the end of the docks. So I turned back around and I came back up the docks at high tide, and I said, I'm going to see if there's any redfish that may have pushed up against that bank, maybe came in towards the dock. So I started to do some artificials under the docks, up against the grass, all of that, worked it up, didn't get anything. Pretty frustrating. So I kept pushing up that way. And if you guys know the Wando River, there is another landing on Big Paradise Island that is opposite Paradise Landing. So if you guys know what I'm talking about, you know the landing I'm talking about. So I got there and I started pushing those docks going up, and got on another fiddler crab, started working those docks. And again, I was right at the peak of high tide, maybe just started to fall out, right there at the top of the tide. Started working those docks, and again, nothing. And I was pretty frustrated. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to abandon the sheepshead fishing. I hit every one of those docks. I mean, I worked them. Maybe I should have stayed on some of these docks a little bit longer. I don't know. It was my first time, trial and error. We're just going to see how it goes, as I keep, sheepshead fishing. But as the day went on, there's this one creek arm, and I shot up this creek, and I was like, okay, I'm going to see if there's any reds up in this creek. And I went all the way up to the very end to where I couldn't go any further. Um, and I got nothing. I never saw fish. I never had a hit. I was completely skunked out. I mean, it was a tough, frustrating day. And then talking with, Captain Stephen yesterday, excuse me, on Tuesday, he was telling me that high tide during the wintertime is a very tough bite. And he is exactly right. So, what Captain Stephen likes to do is he likes the low tides during the wintertime to be early in the morning. So, low tide, 8, 9, 10 o'clock, so that the sun is basically heating up the mud. And then as the tide comes in, then that mud is nice and warm, and these fish start to push back up like onto the flats where that mud is nice and warm after baking all morning long. And then the water starts coming in, which, guys, makes perfect sense. So, take that tip and run with it. So that's how he likes to do it. So, of course, I pose the question, as a weekend warrior, I'm limited, low tide may be on a Tuesday. Well, I'm working. So the only time I could get out was on that Friday or Saturday, and it was high tide. So what would you do? And he said on high tide fishing, one, he may delay his start to, let's say if high tide was at noon, he would delay his start to maybe 1 o'clock so that there's a little bit of water movement and it's already starting to fall out a little bit. And then he said he would find hard stop structure like riprap walls, sea walls, big oyster banks where basically fish can't push past this hard structure and start fishing those areas. So seawalls, big riprap areas, and that's what he would have done. And of course, when he said that, if you guys know the Wando River, down south, there are a handful of homes that have a big riprap bank, a big riprap wall. And I was like, well, maybe that's where I should have been fishing that day. So, as he's talking, I'm thinking of the scenario, the fishing scenario in my mind from, a week ago, going, I should have went there. I should have went there. I should have went there. But, that's the good and bad of being skunked out, is that was now a learning scenario for me, that the next time this happens, the next time I go out with these same conditions in January, maybe February, high tide, maybe the 50-degree water temps, tough bite, I'm going to be looking for these hard stop areas where the fish can't push back. He doesn't like to fish up into flooded grass. He likes those hard stops. So, guys, I thought that was a great tip. So, again, if you haven't caught that episode, go over to YouTube, Spotify, check that out, or just throw it on the Outdoor Radio Network and I will come on and you will listen to the episode. He was awesome. So, there was a question that was posed to me. And Tony, I think you were the one that asked me about a week ago about what I use to clean up my kayak at the end of the day. So I haven't talked about kayak maintenance in a while. One, I'm horrible at it. I sometimes after I get done fishing, I am tired after the end of the day. The last thing I want to do is come and hose down and wipe down my kayak. I may do it, 2, 3, 4 days later. I'm horrible at it. So, guys, what's the old saying? Say as I do, not as I, or say as I don't know. I can't remember the saying, whatever, but do as I say, not as I do. There you go. That's what it is. So what I use is when I get back, I'll wash down my kayak with just like plain water. And then I will use a product. It's called desalt by betterboats.com. So if you go to betterboats.com and find the desalt concentrate, that's what I used. I'm not sponsored by them. I was years ago. They sent me some product. I did one video for them, but after that, I was sold. And I've bought it ever since then. And I love their product. It works absolutely fantastic. I hit everything with it. I spray down my kayak with it. And then I hit my rods and my pedal drive with it also. And then after I get done spraying it down with the Dassault, I come back with clean, fresh water, rinse everything off again, the kayak, the rods, the pedal drives, everything, to clean everything back up. And then I take a big car wash sponge and I dry everything off. I wipe everything down, dry everything off. It gets like the little scum line or mud line off of that kayak when you get done. And so it cleans it up really, really nicely. So, yeah, I don't know what you guys use. I like the Better Boats desalt product. So, but yeah, that's what I use, Tony. So hopefully that helps. So we've only got maybe, oh man, maybe about 10 minutes left in this live. It just flies by. But let's kind of talk the weekend. Saturday, Sunday. Let's take a look at the weather. I'm only going to hit the Murrells Inlet area. So here around Myrtle Beach and Murrells Inlet, I know it's not going to change, excuse me, too much as you kind of head down towards Charleston. I know it's going to be a little colder up towards the North Carolina line, the Wilmington area, but wait a minute. Sorry about that, guys. I had my little comment thing wasn't scrolling on me. I wanted to make sure I wasn't missing anybody's comments here. But so let's talk about the weekend weather. So Saturday's temps, I am seeing starting out in the morning right at about 6, 7 o'clock. It's going to be 39 degrees. It's going to be on the cold side. Now, those of you who are in Myrtle Beach tomorrow, the low is 25. So we've got this cold front pushing through right now. The high tomorrow may be 45. So it's going to be cold. Saturday, 39, getting up to about 60. So it's going to warm up. But here's the bad thing. The winds are going to start out at about 6 miles an hour. And then around noon, it's going to be 15, 18 miles an hour. So that's a little bit of a warm front pushing through, blowing through here. And then on Sunday, we are looking at, hang on, I lost my Sunday temps. It's pretty much going to be 44 degrees all day. I think it ticks up a degree or two on Sunday, 44, 45. Winds are 8 to 12 miles an hour. The kicker, it's going to rain. I'm looking at 80% chance of rain in the morning up till noon. And then that chance of rain kind of tapers off to about 40%. So, guys, it looks like if you want to get out, maybe Saturday morning is going to be your best time. And as we talk about that, here is your tide chart for Saturday. This is off of the NOAA website. So it looks like we've got, again, a high tide here at about 7:22 in the morning, low tide at 2:20 p.m. And then on Sunday, high tide at 8 o'clock, low tide right at about 3. So that is the weekend, guys. I am not going to get out this weekend. Again, I'm going to be down at Hadrolls, but yeah, I'm going to wait for it to warm up. It looks like I'm not even sure what next week is even looking like. I want to say the beginning of the week looks cold, but I don't know what the weekend next weekend looks like. So we'll see. I am again, man, I'm itching to get back out and do some fishing. I am waiting for our winter to end. Usually here in Myrtle Beach, this mid-January timeframe is our winter. The weather will start breaking here in a couple of weeks, right at about that 1st of February. Things start to get into that consistent 50 and 60-degree highs, and the fishing starts to fire back off again. So guys, that is it. If you guys have any more questions, throw it back up into the chat box. But I'm going to throw the Hatterrell's Expo thumbnail back up here real quick. So guys, again, head down there and check it out. It's really, really cool. A lot of great people, super nice people. You can talk to the vendors. Like I said, all of the Z-Man, they've got a booth down there. You can talk to all their guys if you like the Z-Man products. Try your hand at tying flies if you guys ever wanted to do that. But guys, that is it. Hopefully everything came through good on Instagram. I'm going to probably try to go back and watch it. I don't know if I can or not, but we may try to do this every week, be on all of those platforms. So again, guys, I really do appreciate each and every one of you, and we will do it next week. And remember, hang on here. I'm trying to do way too many things at one time here, guys. I've still got comments coming in and way too much going on. So, guys, remember, conservation starts with you. Release a fish for someone else to enjoy. And, guys, I will see you all next week. I appreciate each and every one of you. Guys, have a great night.